Okay, good morning. It's a double honor to be here today presenting my 5th annual report as Ombudsman and marking the start of my second-year term at the same time. While the report offers an opportunity to review the work we've accomplished and evaluate the government's response to our recommendations, I'm also pleased to have a chance to talk a bit about my vision for the next 5 years. The Ombudsman's role has always been to ensure that the ordinary citizen isn't crushed by the bureaucratic juggernaut of the government. But in tough economic times, that's all the more important. When government has to make difficult decisions to reduce deficits, the Ombudsman can be there for both the government and the people, watching for unfairness, investigating complaints, and proposing impartial solutions. L'Ombudsman a toujours eu pour rôle de veiller à ce que les simples citoyens ne tombent pas victimes du juggernaut qu'est l'administration gouvernementale. Mais lorsque la conjoncture économique se fait difficile, ce rôle devient encore plus crucial. Quand le gouvernement doit prendre des décisions ardues pour réduire les déficits, l'Ombudsman peut être là, à la fois pour le gouvernement et pour les citoyens, attentif à toute injustice, enquêtant sur les plaintes et proposant des solutions impartiales. This year's annual report offers some excellent examples of this in action. Our investigation into the government's funding cap on the colorectal cancer drug Avastin found that it was unfair and unsupported by medical evidence. So the government lifted the cap and now pays for the drug for those who need it, a fair solution that is in line with what other provinces are doing with very little additional cost. The simple message of that case was that the government has every right to fund drugs and not to fund them. But once the decision is made to pay for a drug, the decisions on limiting access have to be based on medical evidence. A lot of our other cases this year share the same theme. Not surprisingly, in a year where a lot of people were feeling the effects of the recession, we had a lot of complaints about the Ministry of Training, colleges, and universities. And we did 2 major investigations that resulted in better monitoring of that sector. You'll also find several stories in our report about students who got better treatment from the ministry and from colleges thanks to our help. But this report includes some important stories that you may not have heard before. I know you're all familiar with our special investigations, and I'm proud that these have put our office on the map in the last 5 years. But the proactive and follow-up work we do with government is the real untold story of our office, and I want to emphasize some of that today. You may remember our first major investigation in 2005, where parents of children with severe special needs were being forced to surrender custody of the children to the children's aid societies in order to get them to residential care. At that time, the province agreed this should not be happening, and it acted to fix the problem. But for the past 2 years, we've seen individual cases of this popping up again and again. Last year it was 24. This year, regrettably, it was 39. Families go to their government for help, and they're told there's no money. And they discover there could be help available if they turn their child over to the state. That is bureaucratic dysfunction at its worst. But for our office, it was an opportunity to do what we do best. Our staff worked tirelessly, individually with each family and all the various agencies that are supposed to help them, and they've worked out solutions. Sometimes they bridge bureaucratic gaps between ministries and stop the families from falling through the cracks. We work with the officials, not against them, and the families got the help they needed, and we did it without publishing a big report. We intend to do more of these things in the future. There will be more broad, systemic investigations like the ones we did into the property tax assessment system and the lottery system, and we will follow up on them as we've followed up on all our 21 investigations today. There will be thousands more individual case resolutions like those contained in our report today. There will be more municipal closed meeting investigations, and there will be more proactive work dealing directly with government officials to stop big problems before they fester and grow. Nous avons l'intention de faire plus encore sur tous ces plans à l'avenir. Nous continuerons de mener de grandes enquêtes systémiques, comme celle que nous avons effectuée sur l'évaluation foncière et le système de loterie, et nous continuerons d'en faire le suivi comme nous l'avons fait pour chacune de nos 21 enquêtes réalisées jusqu'à présent. Nous réglerons aussi des milliers de nouvelles plaintes individuelles, comme celle présentée dans notre rapport aujourd'hui, et nous mènerons de nouvelles enquêtes sur les réunions municipales à huis clos. Enfin, nous ferons davantage de travail proactif directement avec les responsables gouvernementaux pour régler les problèmes sérieux avant qu'ils ne s'enveniment et s'aggravent. I'm very proud of the work that my staff and I have done so far and look forward to serving the public for another term. Our report also reflects some of the recognition our office has received from the ombudsman world and from experts in the field of public administration. One of those experts is Professor Gilles Paquette of Ottawa. I'd never met him before last year, but we have very similar ideas about the importance of oversight of government and how watchdog agencies like mine can actually help governments work better. Professor Paquette says the ombudsman should always be looking for problems to fix and creative ways to make organizations function better. It's what he calls scheming virtuously. And that's what we look forward to doing in the next 5 years. Scheming virtuously to improve governance and helping millions more Ontarians along the way.